Okay, so I got sidetracked. As I said, I'm restricted to this land. Soccer players over there, the practice field. Oh, they need a practice field on my land. Oh, this land was free before them. Now it's a practice field, okay? So this is how the Palestinians feel when the Jews or Israelis, the Zionists, actually, the official, we can use the historical term as Zionists, and then, but the Jews like to say, before we were Zionists, we were Jews. The coach. See, like, people put their energy into anything. So your argument is, should I put my energy into games, getting men or women or transgender people? People really like there are certain people that really are into transgender people, okay? So whatever your sexual preference. I don't know the difference between sex and gender anymore. It used to be gender. Okay, gender is what you identify with. It used to be the same, but gender is what you identify in your mind with, and sex is the parts you have, I guess, mainly the parts you were born with. And then you actually have unisex or hermaphrodites, which have characteristics of both, so kind of in the middle. So people are like, oh, you're a man or a woman? So they couldn't say, no, I'm a man, no, I'm a woman. People would be like, they want a label because it's like, it makes their mind easier. Oh, you're hermaphrodite. And eventually they're like, okay, we got to stop using this word. It's unisex. So they transition between the sexes. Dude, this is the dirt. There's spikes here. I don't like this land. There's too much spikes. I want that land. It was my land before. Frustrating. Okay, so the ETF news, why does it come from Cointelegraph? Such a weird source. So again, the big guys like Naughty, the big ETF, legal crypto researchers like Naughty and Zoomer and Ikata, all those guys, most of Evil Eye, they're like, hey, this doesn't make sense. This is definitely fake news. There's no SEC filing. The news will come from the SEC website. It'll be relayed to Tree Capital. So could be a few seconds late. It's the way relays go. So if you're botting, you can either bot the headline, you can bot the relay, you can bot anything. You can bot DB. Obviously, the first source, the sooner you can bot it. And then there's the risk of fake news, pre-pump. There's so many risks. So the hedging, let's talk. I got to talk about the Cointelegraph. So obviously, the smartest people realized it was fake. All right. But the people that were even smarter realized, okay, we can gamble. Shout out to the Vulture. Very few times he gets a shout out. He saw the news was fake. He longed anyway. And of course, I was asleep. I was up till 5 a.m. Don't ask me why. I did miss approximately $40,000 on the long. Would have made it a great week. Sometimes you just got to win. I'll take a moment to sidetrack before I go back to the fake ETF news. And I'll say, your mental state determines your health, okay? How you're going to perform. Remember, clarity of mind. How clear of negative thoughts, how clear of confusing thoughts, distracting thoughts that enter your mind. You want to avoid those and be able to just ignore those. Will determine how well your focus is and how well you perform, okay? So when you're in the middle of a game, you don't want to be thinking like, I used to play sports as a kid, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. And I would just be thinking, fuck, I'm going to play video games after with my friends. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to see what they have for snacks. So I'm just sitting there instead of being hyper-focused. Obviously, as you're a kid, you're not running all over the field. You're generally in a region. It's not like the amount of running in a professional football match where you have to do, 6 miles or 9 kilometers in an average match. Something like that. It's a crazy amount of running. But you just literally stand in the place and then the coach says, move up, move back, move to the right, move to the left. I was a defender. Why? Because the best players are attackers. They have to make the executive decisions. The defenders are just like, okay, is the ball coming toward me? I'm going to try to kick it away or stop the guy. My move would just be, okay, he's dribbling. I would just be like standing. I would move a few feet to the left or right or a meter. And then I would just try to kick it as hard as I can. If he got by me, oh well, he got by me. But usually I stopped him. Broke a couple ankles. No, I don't think I ever broke ankles. But it was like, never got a yellow card at least. Anyway, so yeah, your mind has to be completely clear if you're gonna win. If you don't have a clear mind, if you have to think where your next meal is coming from, you're thinking like, oh, I gotta make $6 or $4 or 50 cents. I don't know how cheap food is where you live. Maybe like rice and beans would be that cheap, but meat, once you get into the meat category, it gets at least like a couple bucks. It's kind of pricey, just because meat are a higher nutritional value, nutritional content, just because the way the fats are arranged, the amino acids and the cellular walls of an animal is just so much richer and denser with molecules, amino acids, and all that good stuff. So yeah, meat costs more, and it definitely costs a lot more to raise an animal to 5 years old, or 2 or 3 whenever you slaughter it, versus just growing a season, sometimes 6 months for some vegetables. Anyway, so that's the reason meat costs more. So let's go back. So clarity of mind. You always want clarity of mind. You want to be healthy. You don't want to think about where your next meal is coming from. So that's the key. So once you're clear and you have a problem with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, I feel like transgender people are a big minority. So should I keep talking about if you have a problem with your transgender friend that you're dating? I don't know. So you get in there, all these problems, but you want to be when you're sitting at that computer. And if you're not at the computer, you're distracted, right? You're not going to be on your phone the whole time. The hell's going on? I'm on my phone, right? Let's see what's going on YouTube, checking the news. You want to be hyper focused on that news feed at all time. Be in the chat room as well, because a lot of the Cointelegraph was not on the True Capital news feed. I don't know if it was on PVP or Trueleap or Newsly. I can't confirm, but whoever picked up the Cointelegraph news, by 2 or 3 minutes later, people were sharing it in the news groups, because that's key. Sometimes the news isn't on the feed, so that's why you want to be in the group as well, looking there. You can't be focused on watching YouTube videos or in a degen trade. The worst thing you can do is be in an underwater trade. And sometimes, even if it's above water, you're focused on like 7K P&L, 10K, 11K. Holy shit, do I close? 8K, now it's down to 6K. I should have closed. So your mind is clouded. You can't have clarity of mind if you're in all these positions. So that's why it's good just to stick to news sometimes, okay? That's why it's so important. And now, once you have clarity of mind, get rid of all your distractions. Now you're focused. Of course, people are going to post memes and links to distract you, but you always want to go back to the task at hand. What's going to give you your edge? What's going to make you your most money, okay? So now we'll go back to the fake ETF. So it starts to spread 23 minutes after the hour, 24. Sorry, I talked about Australia, but I didn't talk about Asia. I think like around 9:21 p.m. or 8:21 p.m. in Indonesia, Singapore, all those good countries, Japan, Korea. I know we'll talk about Vietnam. I never mentioned Vietnam. Thailand, there you go. Cambodia, another good one. Should I drop a rock there? I don't want to cloud it, but there's probably never going to be a pole in there. So the news hits and Bitcoin's at like 27.7K. Now it's at 28K or 27.8K. Now it's at 28K. Now it's like, okay, it's pretty safe. It's only up 1%. Now it's at like 28.5K by the time 27 comes around, 26. Shout out to Mike for posting the Cointelegraph article at 24 in the arena, but of course I'm asleep. And I do have pushovers to wake me up, but there was no pushover alarm because people were scared to wake people up and confuse them. Possible ETF, possible fake news on the ETF. But knowledge is the most important part. What people do with that knowledge is secondhand. So that's the point of the news, to give people knowledge to trade, not to give people to trigger their bots and all that stuff. So it did wick to 30.66K, I think, right around there. I know spot only hit 30K, but futures hit 30.6K. And then the fake news, Seifert, the ETF guy, and the other guy, I forgot his name. Shoot. I just forgot his name. Give me a second. Biscotti. shoot, I get a new name in my head and the old name goes out. I'm terrible with names. So, Maya, Maya, come on. I don't want to walk over there because then the dogs think it's okay to walk over there. I'll walk over there. Okay. So, what are we at? 10 minutes already. Perfect. So, gotta get out of here in about 10 minutes. She's right there. As long as she doesn't go over there. Yeah, she's coming this way. Where's the other little one? We have this one, and am I missing a little black one, or is she here? I think I'm missing her. Hi. Yeah, you can drink from there. You can drink from the pond. Oh, you're too high class. There you go. Oh, you're all dusty, huh? So, 30.6K top, and then Seaford, and I see like a B, like I can't sound out his name, the other guy. They're like, okay, this is no confirmation. Let me ask BlackRock. Oh, the news was BlackRock approves ETF, or SEC approves BlackRock iShares ETF. And people were suspect because why wouldn't they approve it all together? There's like an 80% chance all of them are going to be approved together. So not, but usually like one after another, maybe like a minute after each other, but just one story. It sounds super fake. So we are missing a dog, probably in the parking lot. Oh, there she is. Hi, Mama. Hey, Ella Bell. So, yeah, people started to realize it was fake. Some people shorted early, just like 30K. They're like, no confirmation, most likely fake. It's the Vulture flipped short. Other people like Art flipped short. And they just, then at like 29.5K when Seaford, or the other guy starts, I wish I knew his name, starts to tweet. This seems like fake news. Nothing on the SEC website, because it's going to be on the SEC website, okay? There's no, people like 29.5K, people are like, okay, this is dumb, let's just short. Some people were shorting above 30K anyway, just the natural point to short. And then officially confirmed, I mean, there was no official confirmation ever, but then finally at like 29.4, I think Seaford said no confirmation from BlackRock, most likely fake, because their news, imagine a $1 trillion company managing a couple trillion in assets. They're gonna have, is it 10 trillion in assets? I don't know if it's that much, but it's a lot. They're gonna hear the news. They're gonna have thousands of employees around the world. Even at their main office, there might be like 20 employees there. One person is gonna hear the news, right? So obviously they said, no, there's no news, it's most likely fake. So it necked to like 27.8 or so. So full retrace, 27.7 the wick. I was too slow on the news. As soon as like Zoomer tweeted, it instantly wicked down $400. So if you're on the feed and you had like 5 seconds to enter or 10 seconds, you probably could have done it, but I wasn't. I had no idea what the hell was going on because I couldn't find my phone. I literally was lost. Completely, because I just woke up. My friend actually called me at 30 minutes after the hour, but literally the peak of Bitcoin at 30.6K. He's like, ETF approved? I'm like, nah, I would have longed at 28.5K. I would have longed. Anyway, so that was the fake trade. So people are like, look how bullish it is with fake news. And Cointelegraph, the detail of that trade was that there was, they got it from a news, like Insider Telegraph, Telegram group, kind of like Tree Capital, where someone said ETF approved. They're like source, and then Cointelegraph, who had people in that news group, they just tweeted out. They messaged the boss, said tweet ETF approved. It's better to be early than late. So that's what caused the chaos in the melee, or Malay. No, I think it's melee. So we had two great trades, generational news trades that you may have missed. Just because they happen within a few minutes and you don't have to estimate over days. Remember, AI is the best. Botting is the best at picking up news over a few minutes, a few seconds. Whatever happens after that, AI has a really difficult time determining which way the news is going to go, where the top is. So you can use technicals and stuff like that, but in general, the best time to get in is right at the beginning of the news or right at the bottom or top. So then Huma, now I'll talk about Huma. I think the official pronunciation is Huma Capital, but I will say Huma Capital, right? You want to say Huma Capital, official, or the British way, Huma Capital. So, tweeted that, look, we saw what a fake ETF was going to do to the price of Bitcoin, so there's going to be a lot of front running. It's basically guaranteed. A lot of people are thinking November. A lot of people say November or December before the January 4th deadline. The traditionalists are saying January 4th deadline, they'll approve them all. But again, the SEC is working. There's news coming out this week that the SEC is working with the filers, the exchanges, the funds to approve, to fix their application, to make sure we're on the same page and we can approve your ETF application. So Gainsler and the SEC want it approved, it seems like, as long as they meet all their standards and conditions. So there is a good chance we have it in November, right? So there's a lot of front running, and Huma Capital said all this front running is going to happen. So Huma said, I'm going to hedge, I'm going to long Bitcoin now, because if Bitcoin's 40K by the time the news comes, it might only hit like 44K, 45K. But if Bitcoin's down to 25K, it might hit all the way to 35K, which is a 40% move as opposed to a 13% move, right? So the huge difference, you don't want to miss the front running. So now we have a repeat of the June ETF narrative. So when BlackRock on June 15th first filed, we had Bitcoin go from 25.2K all the way to 31.5K. So now we have Bitcoin going with the narrative happening, say like the day before it was like 26.8K on Sunday, and then the front running. Was it people loading up for the fake news? I don't think so. It could have been just a coincidence. But again, you see those giant candles, people just market buying from 27 to 27.6K. Like, what's going on? People don't want to miss the news. They think, okay, we just want to be positioned under 30K. And now what happens? We have Bitcoin grind back up. Now it's 30K. So again, this narrative is repeating itself. So what happens when the actual news comes in at... Can we stop this? Yeah, in a minute. What happens when the actual news comes in now? So if the price is 35K, you missed most of the move from 27 to 35. You're still going to catch the 35 to 40K move, whatever it is, or 35 to 38. But it might just be a wick. If you're botting, it might be a wick to 38, and then back to 36, and then to 39, or 38K could be the top at 39. And then it could consolidate at 30 to 33K or whatever, and then it could start pumping again. So again, macro is tied to this, but the ability to hedge, as Huma said, is so important, because you can just run it so hard. And now, look, we had Bitcoin at 30K, but alts weren't moving yet. Why weren't alts moving yet? DeFi Squared, the top trader on the Bybit leaderboard, futures leaderboard, said, I'm not going to position, I'm going to close my alt shorts, but I'm definitely not going to start longing alts until I see momentum. But obviously, what happens when Bitcoin makes a big move up? Alts lag, and then alts start to move up. We had Stex and Riff, two Bitcoin laggards. There's a third one, BSV. Those all moved up. Riff got listed on futures. BSV, special shout to Karen, making like 250K. He would have made 500K. So much liquidity, botting. If you can bot, and you want to put in the resources and the time and the edge, go ahead. You can beat Karen. If you have a few $100,000 for liquidity, go ahead, beat Karen. Even if you have nothing, if you want to grind for months at a time to beat Karen in the millisecond edge, go ahead. But again, takes a ton of grinding, and most likely you're gonna fail. But eventually there would be someone to beat Karen. But Karen's his reign has lasted 2 years, pretty good. So go ahead, try to beat Karen. Remember, Tree of Alpha was fast too, but he capitulated in 2022 to Karen. Karen made everyone basically quit botting. Crypto Trader was fine with being second though. He's right there in second place, which is nice. So he might spend half as much as Karen per month, whatever, $10,000 or $20,000 versus 30, 40, whatever it costs. Maybe it's cheaper, I don't know, for the server resources and the scrapers. Anyway, should I close it out here? Yeah, so alts started to move finally on Saturday morning. Alts started to move finally. They all sprang up like 10%, 20%. Floki up 30% on the coin news, the new token. So again, when you see the Bitcoin move, you don't want to wait for alts. Don't wait for alts. Bitcoin makes the move and it's holding. Hop in alts. It's generally like 80% win rate if you hop in alt longs. Lower than 10x. You don't want to get wiped out by Wick. So that's that. I'll see you guys later. See you on the other side. I could talk about hay, meme coins. They're pumping. There is edge. Billy, special shout out to Billy and Dipper for camping the deployer. Other people like Luna, and the rest of Dumpster DAO. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the other side. Don't be afraid to DM me. Again, you want clarity of mind and the ability to grind, okay? Grind, notifications, be in a group with alpha traders, and just ignore distractions and you'll be successful. And remember, there's always another trade. If you think, I always see people trading like this is the absolute last trade. I won't close in a loss. I want this much profit. Again, it's not the last trade. There's always another trade. I always tell people like Dirk and Comfy, I'm like, is this the last trade ever? Did something happen to the market? Why are you devoting so much time and money to this trade? Like, why? Just close it. There's always another trade. Jesus. Or Allah. Or Yahweh. Or Vishnu. Goodbye, everyone. There's always another trade. Remember that. Stop trading like this is the last trade. You don't have to devote all your time and energy to one trade. Unless you're completely underwater and you have millions of dollars, and then, yeah, you want to be hyper-focused. But again, sometimes you miss all the trades. Remember the law of Duff. If you're in one trade, there are 1,000 other trades that are going to be more profitable. And the corollary to that trade is likewise there's going to be 1,000 other trades that are less profitable. So again, there's always thousands of trades. Don't think this trade is your last trade. Don't put all your money into one trade, okay? Unless you're bought in and out in a few seconds, ETF news, a few minutes, okay? Don't hold. Holding, it's fine. Hedge. If you're going to hold, hedge. Go ahead. All right, see you guys later. Thanks for watching.